Before I get into today's video, there's something I want to make clear. This video is an opinion piece. I'm using allegations and suppositions. That is all they are. I am not stating anything as fact. I also draw attention to the disclaimer at the start of this video, which explains that I use sarcasm and satire and it should not be taken seriously. I am exercising my right to free speech as enshrined in Article 10 of the Human Rights Act. So now that's all out of the way, today I'll be discussing alleged two-tier justice. And often people from outside the UK ask me what's it like living in Britain under our current government. In my opinion, this is what it's like, being bloody careful what one says on any form of social media, because in my opinion we have an inefficient and rather useless government who've discovered that the way to deal with dissenting voices is to lock them up. It's worth noting that last year in the UK, violent criminals were freed from prison early in order to jail people who posted things on social media. And at the time of recording, since Keir Starmer came to power, more people in Britain have been jailed for social media posts than in Russia. Lucy Connelly. If you're not from the UK, you may not know the name. This is her. Last year, she was jailed for 31 months for one tweet which she deleted less than 3 hours after posting it. The offensive tweet, which we'll get to, was posted on the day of the Southport murders, a day when emotions, quite rightly, were running rather fucking high in the UK. She was also given bad legal advice. Advised to plead guilty to get a reduced sentence, but she pled guilty and the judge threw the book at her. Yesterday, her case was up for appeal. And I, like any sensible person on the face of the earth, thought, well, she's done months in prison for one fucking tweet. She's been a model prisoner. Surely it's time to send her home to her family. No, her appeal was rejected. In my opinion, so again, I'm not stating it as fact, much of the misinformation following the Southport atrocities could have been stopped easily by the government. The Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, would have known within minutes of the murderer's arrest of his identity. But rather than sharing that identity, effectively there was a media blackout. And I promise there will be jokes coming up later, when there's a media blackout, social media then kicks in, and a rumour went around that the murderer was an illegal immigrant. And that wasn't hard for people to believe, because more often than not, when there's some knife-wielding maniac running around the UK, you can guarantee he's not fucking here legally. Not only that, but Merseyside police were effectively given a gagging order when it came to the killer's identity. And this, I won't call him a man because he's less than bacteria. He's the worst scum of the earth. Once the mainstream media started talking about him, they described him as a Welsh choir boy. So get that image in your mind, a Welsh choir boy. I apologise for putting this bastard's image up on screen. Welsh choir boy with the traditional Welsh name, Axel Ruddercabania. And yes, he was born in Cardiff, so technically he's Welsh, but his parents came to this country from Rwanda as refugees. And sorry, if a dog's born in a stable, it doesn't make it a fucking horse. And generally speaking, I'm against capital punishment. For that bastard, I'd have him executed on pay-per-view television. So what did Lucy Connelly write in this offensive tweet? Well, let's bear in mind that before she was banged up and left to rot in prison, she worked as a childminder. She has a 12-year-old daughter and was caring for her husband who has cancer. Her husband is also a Conservative councillor, so a low-end member of the opposition. And of course, I'm sure that has no bearing whatsoever on her appeal being rejected or the length of her sentence. Like I say, I am not suggesting in any way that Keir Starmer still has contacts within the legal profession. But here's her tweet, word for word, quote, "Mass deportation now, set fire to all the fucking hotels full of the bastards for all I care. If that makes me racist, so be it." 31 months in prison for that tweet, which, like I said, was only up for around 3 hours. The judge who threw the appeal out, Lord Justice Halroyd, previously knocked 3 years off the prison sentence of a Labour MP, Nazir Ahmed. And he didn't do anything as heinous as post an offensive tweet. No, he buggered a 9-year-old boy. 31 months for that tweet. This is Daniela Cancum Adu. She was arrested for smuggling £250,000 worth of drugs into the UK. She received a 12-month suspended prison sentence. And what about Hugh Edwards, the disgraced BBC newsreader? He was caught with images of child abuse on his phone and he avoided jail. And people could say, well, that tweet, it was incitement to violence. So let's not forget Labour councillor Ricky Jones.
They hurt. We've got children and women using those trains, destroying some relatives. They are disgusting, nasty bastards. And we need to cut their throats and get rid of them all. I just want to say thank you all. I'm going to leave it now.
We need to cut their throats. That bastard is still on bail. His court case has been knocked back until August. In my opinion, again, not stating this as fact, in my opinion, I think the government are hoping that we'll forget about it. We won't. My question to the Prime Minister is this. Sir Keir Starmer, are you actively trying to start a fucking civil war? Next up, let's see Comrade Starmer being, in my opinion, a barefaced fucking liar.
Is freedom of speech dead in this country?
I'm not across the details of the particular case, but let me give you the principles that I would apply. Firstly, I'm strongly in favour of free speech. We've had free speech in this country for a very, very long time, and we protect it fiercely. I'm equally, though, against incitement to violence against other people. That has long been an offence in our country, and rightly so. And so I say, don't know the details of this case, but free speech, yes. Incitement to violence, no.
I'm not across the details of this particular case. And then talks about Lucy Connelly's case because he mentions freedom of speech and incitement to violence. Is it not enough that the man has a voice like a fucking dial-up modem? But he has to treat the electorate like we're bloody stupid. Sir Keir Starmer, please stop lying, allegedly. I feel sorry for his kids. Imagine having that for a father. I will bet when they get older, they'll change their surname by deed poll to something less embarrassing, like Mugabe or Hitler. Former Prime Minister and hairdryer enthusiast Boris Johnson gave an interview where he said that Britain is in danger of becoming a police state. Again, Boris Johnson said that, not me. And I'm being careful because in the UK, say the wrong word, and allegedly there's a chance that the police force, Starmer's stormtroopers, will kick your door in, and then you'll go to court and one of his alleged legal mates will get you banged up for years. So that's our alleged two-tier justice. And now we get to what Starmer has done this week as well, which is effectively he's dragged the UK back into Europe without consulting the British people in all but name. And we know that he was anti-Brexit. And whichever way you voted, if you're British, I don't really care. He wanted another referendum. I think that's fine. But bear in mind that around 17 million people voted to leave the EU. Less than 10 million voted for Labour. Labour didn't win the last election. The Conservatives lost it. So I'm happy to have another Brexit referendum, provided we can also have another general election. So freedom of movement is being reintroduced to young people. And by young, apparently that's 35 and under. When did mid-30s become young? I have a prediction though. I think that countries like Germany, France and Spain will fast-track all of their illegal immigrants, all their boat people, rapidly into getting EU citizenship so they can fuck them all off to Britain. Since Starmer came to power, 36,000 illegal immigrants have made their way across the Channel. Those are the ones that we know about. He's had to do a partial U-turn on the winter fuel allowance just today. Interest rates up to 3.5%. And down in London. London used to be the greatest city on the face of the earth. Now, on Park Lane, Billionaires Row, that street you'll know if you played Monopoly, there's now an illegal migrant camp where people are shitting in the street. We can't do another 4 years of this. Another 4 years of a Prime Minister who sounds like a Dalek with severe learning disabilities and looks like a slightly melted shop mannequin. However, listening to a radio show today, I heard a truly brilliant idea. When Lucy Connelly finally gets out of prison, she should run as an MP in the next general election directly against Keir Starmer in his own constituency, because he would get fucking annihilated. Honestly, it's like presenting Newsnight. Anyway, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you leave a like or a comment, that really helps the video with the algorithm. If you'd like to support me in making these videos, there's links in the description to my Patreon and to buy me a coffee. And as ever, thanks for watching. In my opinion, which is all it is, an opinion, I'm not stating this as fact, I think at the moment, in my opinion, fuck it.